Hey everybody, it's Safi and Marco Dish Out on Movies, the only movie review show on YouTube to review movies in terms of food. It's just Marco here once again, and thankfully I probably won't have to do any other videos today, but I still need to figure out how to get the delete button back on the files, because I don't know how that just disappeared. And then there's this really weird thing in my pictures section where you go to the recently deleted, and you know how like you can select all the pictures and delete them all at the same time. Well, for some reason when I select them all, there's no delete button there, but then when I press on the individual pictures, I can delete them individually. So I need to figure those two things out, and also get to working on the film, which now that I have better sound capabilities, I will hopefully be able to do that process really fast and not really go through a lot of that, because I have to redub like 15 scenes completely, and it's going to be a lot of work and a lot of painstaking, just terrible process that's going to be. So anyways, I am here today to rank the American Horror Story Roanoke characters. I felt like this season was the best season of the show, and with it being the best season, there were a lot of great characters. I also felt like there were a lot of characters they had wasted potential. And it was kind of by design, though, because this environment was so brutal that you could hardly survive. I mean, a lot of these people, they just get killed off really fast, and it's really just to show how brutal this environment is. And I feel like that's kind of why some of the characters are a little bit weaker, is because they just come in and they die. They don't really get a chance to be good characters and have like development and arcs or anything. So, and well, to be fair though, the ones who do get to be there for a long time, some of them suck too. So let's get started. There's like 37 characters. I hope this isn't going to be an hour-long video, but it might be. Especially with me, because I'm very detail-oriented. The worst character of the season is Jethro Polk, and he is played by Finn Wittrock. And I just hated this character. I mean, obviously by the name, they were trying to have him be like a Jethro type of character, like in Beverly Hillbillies. And I already hate Jethro from Beverly Hillbillies, so I definitely wasn't going to like the cannibal version. And this character is so gross. Like, usually in these, like, situations where you have a hostage victim and she pretends to flirt with the bad guy, usually he gets to do a lot more. Like, usually he frees her and then he takes her away or something. This guy is so evil that, like, he just still wants her to die and everything. Like, he's still not going to let her go. And he's just a terrible person, and, he's a part of the cannibal family. But he was just not entertaining to watch either. Like, I really felt like this was kind of a waste of Finn Wittrock. I feel like out of all of his characters, this is definitely his worst one. It's not really a great character at all. He's not really that scary, as he just is gross. And next up is the fat Polk family member from the reenactment. He's a bad cannibal man. And then next up is, let's just say the next three people up, these people are in the fuck you tier. They are the hikers. And honestly, they're kind of interchangeable. All three of them are very annoying. They're very much like the Goosebumps 2023 characters. They are just very, very stereotypical Gen Z people. They just care about, online popularity, and they're really pretentious and stupid. Like, one of the hikers, she was talking about the feminist meaning of the Roanoke show. And, these were just terrible people. And I couldn't wait to see them get killed, honestly. Like, I know a lot of people felt bad when two of them got impaled, but I was, like, really happy. I was like, yay, get what you deserve. I mean, they got to leave Roanoke, and they came back. Like, how stupid can you get? Like, they got to leave. How did they get so lucky and then they come back? Like, just what a stupid group of characters. And I hate them. And next up is Flora, the real Flora. Now, honestly, this Flora girl, this little girl, she is worse than Alma from season 10. She is that bad. I hate this little girl. I don't care that she's a child. I hate this character. She's a horrible, horrible character. She wants to be with this little ghost girl, Priscilla, for some reason. And there's not really any development with that at all. It's just, she's just a really bratty, selfish little girl. And she's put her mother in a horrible position in the finale where people think that she kidnapped her. And it's horrible. It's like this little girl, she is just the worst. She's a horrible. I really, really wish that she had gotten killed instead of her mother, and then her mother could just be sad about it. Because honestly, like, I hate her so much. Like, she is the worst. And also, like, the moment in the finale where, like, she was at trial and she was talking about her stupid ghost friends, I was, like, really happy because she just looked like such an idiot on the trial. And she got humiliated. And I was like, yeah, you deserve it. Just F that character. And then the last person in the fuck you tier is Lana Winters once again. This character, as you guys know, if you guys have seen all of my American Horror Story videos, you know how much I hate Lana Winters. And this iteration, I despise this character. I despise everything about her. I hate this stupid character. I mean, she is really, really the worst. I mean, she is probably like one of the top worst American Horror Story protagonists. In season 2, I was so excited when, after she abused that child and she tried to kill him multiple times and turn him into a serial killer, I was so excited for her to get her just desserts at the end, only for her to turn around and kill him. And so I really hated the fact that they bring her back in this finale. And you're really excited because, once again, she almost gets what she deserves, but no, she just gets knocked out. And I was so disappointed by that. Like, her character is just, she's so, ugh. She's another, like, stereotype, too. Like, she is just playing, like, this annoying, like, journalist stereotype, and, and God, what was the other thing? And also, too, like, the only reason that she came out of retirement was so that she could entrap a woman for doing something that she never did. Like, she's more concerned about Flora than she is about these people that Lee murdered. And there's no discussion about that, really. It's just more about, like, Flora. And because she thinks that she kidnapped her, and I thought, God, this character, she is once again the worst. Now let's move on to the dumb and dull tier. These characters weren't necessarily the worst, but they were still pretty dumb and dull. Now, this next one, I don't even know why she's on this list. She was not a character on the show. This drag queen who was interviewing the cast. I don't know why the person put her on here. And so, I just think they're a fan of her. And to that, I would just say, look, she wasn't a character. She had nothing to do except for saying, one or two lines in the finale. So I really can't put her any higher than that. I was going to put her in the fuck you tier, but I thought it wasn't fair to her because, she's not a bad person or anything, but she didn't even have a character, so. And next up is the real-life actor who played Cricket in the first show. Out of all the people to come back, I felt like this actor, he was in tune. He was playing this psychic character. I mean, that was something really weird to me, was how, none of these people hardly who did the show believed the supernatural stuff that was going on. And I really felt like his character coming back in the finale for yet another show was the stupidest thing ever. It was basically a desperate attempt by the writers to get people to like the episode, because they kill everyone off. So, the only way to get people to really like this is to, bring one of the actors back, but then, just have him be the real actor. And, so it was like a desperate attempt. It was like a bait to get fans to like it. Which is sad because he's a great actor. I mean, the other character he plays is great, so we'll talk about him later. Next up is Mason. He really didn't have a character at all. He was just a terrible dad. He was an abuser. Nothing about him that's redeemable. Next up is the other cannibal from the Polk family. I can't remember his name, but I was really excited when he almost killed not one but two terrible characters. But no, he couldn't even accomplish that. And so for that, I put him in the dumb and dull tier. Plus, he's really gross, and I hate him. Ew. Gross cannibal guy. Next up is the reenactment version of Matt, played by Cuba Gooding Jr. Now, both him and Crybaby, I thought, this was one of the problems with the first half of the season, where I could see why people didn't like the season, is because they did not fit these parts at all. They were really not great as these characters. I felt like both of them were kind of weak sauce. The thing is, though, is that was kind of the point. It was kind of the point that the reenactment actors were very over the top, and they were very, Hollywoodized, but then the real people, they felt more like the characters. That was really the point. But still, I did not like this guy's portrayal of this character, and I felt like it kind of weakened the show. But not enough, obviously, because I still think it's the best season of the series. So, and then finally, the last person in the dumb and dull tier is Lee, the real Lee herself. To me, as soon as I saw her face in the first episode, I thought to myself, this is not Lee to me. This is the Wish.com Lee, because, wow. I do think that she's a good actress, but this character, she does so many bad things, and then there's never any, legitimate reason why. Yeah, her child was going to be taken away from her, but that's still not a reason to commit murder, and to do it in such a brutal way where then she desecrated the corpse and, made a big, display of it, and then blamed it on the ghosts. she's really not a great person. And that's why I think the ghosts kind of liked her, is because they were attracted to her because of how evil she was. That's why in The Shining, the movie, the ghosts get Johnny, or wait, they get Jack. I don't know why I was thinking Johnny, because he says, "Here's Johnny" in the movie. God, that I should revoke my horror fan card right there. But that's why the ghosts at the Overlook Hotel are so attracted to Jack, is because he's an alcoholic. And if you guys don't know, drinking alcohol attracts spirits and lower negative energy entities, because when you drink alcohol, you're lowering your defenses in every way, shape, or form. And so these ghosts, they really like this bad person. And then later on in the show, for some reason, she gets to eat a heart, and then she gets magic powers, and she gets possessed, and then she just starts killing people. That was so bizarre, and I didn't like that at all. And I really did not like that character. I mean, there was nothing about her that I really liked. I liked the actress, but I just did not like the character. And the only thing that I'll say is that at least in the finale, she taught her stupid, bratty bitch daughter a lesson by killing herself and protecting Priscilla. At the very least, there's that. So, now we get to the had potential tier. Ugh. Next up, I'm just going to say the Flora in the reenactment and Priscilla in the reenactment. These characters, their whole story should have been a lot more developed than it was, considering that it became like the main plot of the finale was that Flora wanted to go stay with Priscilla and protect her from the butcher over and over again. But instead, they're hardly in the show. And, yeah. Next up is the Chin, or the Jin. This kind of grudge-like character who crawls up and down walls and makes funny faces. There's no explanation for this character at all. I felt like at least we could have gotten some kind of hint into what she was, where she came from. I mean, what's the deal with that thing? I mean, it's just like a random entity, and there's nothing to her. Like, how did they have a name for them? How did they even have a name for these creatures if they don't know anything about them? Like, if you don't know anything about them, then you shouldn't even have a name for them. Next up is the two nurses, the sisters. These characters felt a lot more like characters from, like, the old school seasons, where, like, in the first season you learn, like, oh, look, there were these killers in the murder house and they committed these murders there, and that's what these characters felt like. And I really felt like they were underutilized in the second half of the show. I mean, pretty much all they do in the second half is kill Rory, and then they complete the murder word, and then there's no significance to that at all. I mean, there's no significance to them completing the murder word. Like, do they move on after that as ghosts? Or, like, who cares if they completed the murder word? Like, nothing happens. So those characters, I liked them. I felt like they deserved a little bit more. Next up is Rory. Rory as a character was just not great. He really didn't have much of a character at all. He seemed to be a nice guy. He seemed to be a good guy, and he he got his, that's for sure. I mean, he got Crybaby, British Crybaby, and I feel like I would feel very accomplished if I got her. So uh, good for him, but like he just got killed really fast. So another character that could have had more to him. I mean, another thing too that I haven't mentioned yet is that a lot of these characters, the season before this, it was like every character who got killed would immediately come back as a ghost, and you get all this dialogue with them and about them like they have nothing to do and they need to move on or they need to find something to do. And I was wondering why Rory never came back as a ghost hardly at all to like help his wife survive. Like it would have been so cool if like when she fell in that hole, if maybe she woke up and he was there next to her or something, his ghost. But like no, none of these people, we never see their ghosts. And I felt like that was a big missed opportunity. And we'll talk about that a little bit more coming forward because there's another example. Next up is the butcher's son. This character, he betrayed his mom, the butcher, and he was just kind of a dull character. But the thing is that he could have been a lot better. I mean, because at the end, he did save Matt and Shelby in the first half of the season by killing the butcher as a ghost, which I guess, like, even though they were killed there, they'll still come back because it'll just repeat over and over again, similar to The Shining. But yeah, he just really didn't have much to him, but he could have. He could have had more to him. He could have been a more interesting character, but he didn't get to, so. Next up is the personal assistant who dies in the car crash. She's another one. She just kind of... She is a smart person because she saw all this stuff going on, and she said, okay, I'm out of here. And then she drove, tried to get away, and then boom, she's gone. And as a ghost, though, she could have come back, and she could have tried to help somebody. Like, that's another thing at the end. The whole thing with, Lee has got to kill herself to protect the ghost girl. Where's all these other people? Where's the spirit of Cricket? Where's the spirit of Shelby? Where's the spirit of Matt? Where's the spirit of all these people who died? And they could just as much protect Priscilla as Flora or Lee ever could have. Because, I mean, like, where are those spirits? Like, why did they just conveniently not show up? But then, like, in last season, everybody was a spirit. And it was almost like death didn't mean anything because you could just die and come back as a ghost and then do whatever you wanted in the hotel. So next up is the actor who played the butcher's son. This character came on screen at the end of an episode, and they treated it as though he was going to be a huge part of the next episode. Like, him coming into the picture was like, uh-oh, it's a game changer. But then in the next episode, he's like, I fought in a war. And then seconds later, he gets killed. And it's like... That's not that character, he was trash. He got served by the ghosts at Roanoke. And next up is the director, producer, showrunner, I guess, of the shows. Now, this guy was a huge jackass, yes. But he was very entertaining. I really liked the actor. And, I felt like that it could have been really interesting if he had died and come back as a ghost, because he still could have like tried to create a good reality show as a ghost, and so that could have been really interesting. Or he could have tried to help them and realizing that, what he did as a human was bad. But no, he doesn't come back at all. So he dies really fast. I mean, he didn't even get to have his fucking fried chicken. Like, he got this beautiful, like, fried chicken and french fries and soda, and he didn't even get to eat his fried chicken. He just got killed. It's terrible. It's terrible. Next up is the real Matt. Now, this character... the actor fit the character a lot more, which is why it frustrated me that they kind of ruined his character in the second half, because he comes back there just so that he can sleep with the witch woman, and I thought that didn't make any sense. I felt like they should have had something where he was possessed and then he snapped back into it, but then maybe it would be too late and his wife would kill him anyway, because it just didn't feel real that he's like a changed person and he wants to be with the witch now. It didn't feel really earned at all. And next up is the witch herself, played by Lady Gaga. This character was not even a character. Like, they said she is the most dangerous character in Roanoke. But then she just kind of disappears, and she's like hardly in the show at all, and she doesn't even get like hardly any dialogue or any story or any reason for existing. So I really thought that this character could have been done a lot better. I mean, like, I felt too like she should have played a much bigger part into the story if she was such a powerful character. I mean, and the thing where she just gave Lee the heart to eat, that was really bizarre, and it didn't make sense at all why she did that. I didn't get that at all. At the top of the have potential list is Angela Bassett, is the actress who played Lee in the second half. This character was really, really weak. I mean, she had nothing to her at all. And I felt like I was really like upset because in the first half, she was given like a really good role to play and she did a great job. But in the second half, she was just kind of there. And that's why I'm not really surprised that this is her second to last season in the show. Because she got screwed over in this season. Like, I mean, God, you have Angela Bassett and you give her this character? Like, God, what a waste. What a complete waste of talent there. Like, especially her and Lady Gaga in this season, they were wasted. That's one thing you could say about Hotel, is that at least in that season, both of their talents were not really as wasted. So now let's get to the had good moments tier so that I can start sounding a little bit more positive, since I did love this season. At the beginning of the had good moments tier is the real life Mama Polk. I felt like this actress did not do anywhere near as good of a job as Frances Conroy did as the character. I was really disappointed that Frances did not get to play her in the second half of the season. But that being said, I still felt like she was a very good and creepy villain, and she definitely had some good moments. Next up is the Shelby in the reenactment, played by Crybaby. Even though she did not really fit the part, I felt like she had some good moments, actually, whereas the guy, the Matt in the reenactment did not really have any good moments at all. So I just kind of put her here kind of out of pity. Next up is the guy who knows a lot about Roanoke. I can't remember his name. Isn't it like William Van Henderson is the actor, and then the character is Elias or something. I like that this character provided some knowledge about Roanoke. I liked how he kind of seemed like he was going to be this guy who helped out the couple, but then he gets brutally murdered. You know, it really felt like a great bait and switch with that character, where you thought that he was going to play a big part in the season, but then he gets fucked up. And I would say, too, that he probably had the most brutal death out of the season, because he almost got killed by the butcher, and then he gets slowly tortured to death and eaten by the cannibals. So he got the worst death for me. At the top of the list for the had good moments is the real Shelby. I really loved this character at first. I felt like this character could have been a great main character, and she could have been a great survivor girl. And she had a lot of good moments because the actress is really, really good. Definitely a very underrated actress in Hollywood, and one that, you know, I would love to put in something. But in the second half, she gets kind of wasted. I mean, she kills her husband, and then she feels bad about it, and she kills herself upstairs. So, you know, so she just she leaves. And also, too, I didn't even mention, like, why did she come back? Like, I mean, these people, for coming back, really, really stupid decision. I mean, especially Shelby. Because, like, her whole reason for coming back, supposedly, was so that she could get together with her husband. And it's like, you know what? Wouldn't it be a lot smarter of a decision to get back with your ex-husband by, like, going out for a coffee or something, rather than going out to Roanoke? I mean, what did they expect to accomplish there? I mean, they knew that they were coming back during the blood moon, too. That's another thing. They came back at the worst possible time. Next up, we are now in the near perfect tier. And we have about, like, 8 characters. So thank God this video won't be an hour long, because it's funny because the videos that I always think will be an hour long, they always turn out to not be an hour long. And then the videos that I think that I'll do really fast turn out to be like an hour. So next up is the actor who plays Matt in the first half, Cuba Gooding Jr. I really liked this character because he was fun. I felt like this was kind of why they hired him, was so that he could do this character in the second half. You know, he's very full of himself. He's very self-centered. He wants to have his own spin-off show. And, you know, he's really, really good, though, because even though he's really full of himself, he still protects the people at the house. He still is trying to help them. He is still trying to protect them. And then in the end, what does he get? He gets killed because they won't let him back in the room because they think that he's the bad guy. And if you guys don't know, I just rolled my eyes there. Sorry. You know, in the future, you will be able to see me roll my eyes on screen. Next up is Edward Mott, played by Evan Peters. I felt like this character could have been really in the had potential tier, but I wanted to put him in the top tier just because I really enjoyed his performance. I thought that once again, Evan Peters did a great job at playing a different character. And I liked how he helped the main couple get out of the situation in the first half. Like, I liked how he tried to save them. And I thought that it was a really cool, like, redemption for his character. But then I will say, though, in the second half, this character does jack shit. I mean, his character is like, I am sick of seeing bloodshed on the premises of this house. I am sick of it. But then in the second half, he doesn't do anything to stop any of the murders from going on. And I felt like it was a little bit contrived because the writers, they didn't want to, write more storylines on the show because they didn't have enough time because it's only 10 episodes. But I felt like that was a big problem for me because why in the second half was he allowing all that murder to take place? I mean, there's not a single part in the second half where he even attempts to help somebody. Next up is the Mama Polk from the reenactment played by Frances Conroy. I felt like this character really creeped me out. She actually kind of scared me, which is very, very rare for me, especially. And I felt like she did a really, really good job. Like, it was really, really hard to watch this character. I mean, she was so good, and I wish that we had gotten more of her because she was perfect as this villainous cannibal mother. Next up, I love this character. I fucking love her in this season. Apparently, Crybaby did not like this season of the show. I think that is a huge shame because Crybaby is the British Crybaby, aka Audrey. I love this character. I mean, she is so good. She is so funny. And she is so likable and fun. And it is surprising how long her character lasts in the show. Because she seemed like she was going to die first. And really, she's the last person on the show to die until Lee comes back to, get Flora. So, anyways, I really loved Audrey. I thought she is definitely one of my favorite characters in the history of the show. I wish that she would have survived. I think it was a huge mistake to kill her off. Next up is Cricket from the reenactment. I thought that this character was really cool because he was able to connect to the spirit world and actually talk to the butcher. And the characters, they don't really get to talk to the butcher very much because she's killing everyone. I mean, she's really, really evil and she's just butchering everyone. And I really like the fact that Cricket was able to talk to her and to try to reason with her. And I really wish that we could have gotten more of him. But I like the fact that they kind of subverted that we thought that he would survive. And then they killed him off in such a brutal way. But then again, where's the ghost of Cricket? Why isn't the ghost of Cricket ever show up to do anything? Because, God, out of all the people to become a ghost, a psychic? You know what would happen when a psychic would become a ghost? They would try to connect to people. They would try to help people, hopefully. Cricket, he just disappears as a ghost. I don't know why that is. They need to make a Roanoke Part 2 right now. Instead of making a stupid Delicate story with Kim Kardashian and all those unlikable actors, make Roanoke Part 2. Come on. Now, my third favorite character is Lee from the reenactment, played by Angela Bassett. As I said before, I really like the fact that this character for Angela Bassett, she was a lot different than the other characters that she got to play in the show up to this point. Like in Season 3, she played a voodoo queen who wanted revenge. In Season 4, she played a woman with 3 boobs who wants revenge on the freaks. So she wants revenge and wants to kill Dandy Mott. So that's another character who just wants revenge. And then in season 5, she plays Lady Gaga's ex-girlfriend, who's a vampire, and she wants revenge on Lady Gaga. And so it's just like every season she plays the same character, but in this season, she's like the underdog. And she comes into the show, she's this really flawed character. She's an alcoholic. She used to be a police officer. She's a failed wife. You know, she got a divorce, and so she's a failed wife. But you know, seriously, she is like a great underdog character, and I really wanted to see her succeed. But it's just unfortunate that in the first half of the show, she kind of gets taken out of the show. I mean, there's a couple of episodes where she just disappears because she is busy being interrogated at the police station. And I really wish that she would have been the real Lee. Honestly, I wish that she would have been the real Lee, and then the Wish.com Lee could have been the reenactment actress. Now, my number 2 favorite character of Roanoke is Agnes, the actress who plays the butcher on the show. This actress is insane. She went insane playing the role. She became a crazy psychopathic murderer. But she is a badass. Like, I'm not one to excuse murder, as you guys have seen. But she is a badass. Like, she stomps around Roanoke like she owns the place, killing everybody. I mean, she is almost just as brutal as the real butcher. And she is really, really like a survivor girl, too, because she gets shot, and then she just goes down into the little hole, and she picks the bullet out, and she moves on like it's nothing. Like, this actress is like, I really wish that she would have gotten more, because I couldn't get enough of her. I mean, she without Kathy Bates, this season would not have been as good, honestly. And so with that being said, the number 1 best character of the season is obviously the butcher on the reenactment. You know, I mean, she is an iconic villain. I think that it is Kathy Bates' best character in American Horror Story. I think that she's a really scary, intimidating villain, which Kathy Bates is very good at playing villains. She's very good at playing like an intimidating, villainous character. And she also, both characters too that she played, they did have a little bit of humanity to them, that you did feel a little bit sorry for them. So like, you know, when her son betrays her, and then when she gets kicked out of her colony, you do feel sorry for her. And then with Agnes, you feel sorry for her that she gets left out, and that she's really heartbroken that she's not going to be involved with the new show. So yeah, I mean, she did amazing. So anyways, that is, wow. Basically, I averaged almost like a little over a minute for each character, which is a very, very good average, I would say. So please like this video and comment and tell me the best and worst characters of the season. I know that there's a lot of people who like Lee, the real Lee, the Wish.com Lee. That's fine. I like the actress, so I mean, I'm not going to complain. And then please subscribe to our channel if you'd like to see more honest reviews. I believe tomorrow or Monday we will be starting American Horror Story Cult. So goodbye, everybody. See you soon.